Welcome in, everybody. Mad Talk Sports, episode 40. We got a special trio here today for the first time all together at once. Fellas,
What's up?
Gang's back together, just missing Connor.
just missing Connor. Maybe next
Just
time.
missing Connor.
He's got
Yeah.
those time zone changes. He's probably still doing shit.
I don't think Arizona believes in time.
They
It's
don't.
like
They're in
4
two different
o'clock
time
there.
zones throughout the year. It's weird.
Yep. It is weird. We were able to get him once, and we'll get him again with the whole quattro of all of us all together there. But Drake back in the saddle as per usual now for the foreseeable and forever, the concrete future. From here on out, Drake is back. But Kyle is joining in for the third time. And for the first time, not a sad Bears fan. He still is, but different title.
Yeah. No, the Bears still suck, but I have different priorities now.
Drew Holiday.
Yeah. And spoiler alert, first thing we're getting into is the massive trade news in the NBA. Before we get to the one that Kyle is excited to talk about, we got to start with the big ticket item. That's Dame time. So first reactions, Drake, what was your initial thoughts when you saw this come through?
Overreaction by Bucks fans.
Oh,
You guys think you're gonna win the finals yet again, but sorry. It's a fire trade. I mean, you got Damian Lillard. Everything to be excited about, but
did the Bucks get better?
I
mean-
say their late game offense certainly got better. Their half court offense got a lot better in this trade, but their defense is going to take a huge hit.
100%. And I mean, you guys, defensively, that's really what drove you. You had Drew and Giannis. And Brook Lopez. Chris Middleton isn't bad on defense. You guys were very good defensively. Dame's not that good defensively, to be honest. I mean, yeah, he'll put up 40 for you, but then
Give up
you're gonna
45
rely
on the other
Giannis a
side.
lot.
Okay.
Exactly. So
Okay. The list of point guards that can put up 45 consistently besides Dame is like,
Well, I didn't say
Steph-
only one guy would be scoring on him, though.
just in general.
Yeah.
Fair. But let's also be fair in the fact that Damian Lillard has never had a defense behind him that he will have with Giannis and Brook. Never. Those are trees back there.
Brook Lopez had back surgery 2 years ago. That's kind of, something you got to worry about.
Last year he was in the depoy race. Like, I'm
just
that
saying
worried
he could miss a lot of time. Back injuries aren't, the best.
He could, but we didn't trade for Dame so that we could be the 1 seed. We were the 1 seed last year. If we were satisfied with that, we would have stayed put. I would have been fine with the Bucks not making this move. I didn't think it was possible, quite frankly. I didn't think we had the pieces. I'm still shocked that it happened. I didn't want to give up Drew, and we're going to get to Drew, but overall, I think the Bucks clearly didn't think they had enough to, they could compete. They could still be kind of where they've been the past few years, but they clearly thought that the Celtics were better than them or that the Nuggets were better than them and that they needed to shake things up. That half-court offense has been a joke the last year, 2 years now. They had to shake the snow globe, and this was a major yank on it.
it's crazy that you say they thought the Celtics were better than them, but now here the Celtics go still being better than them.
All right,
Agreed.
we'll get to that, and Kyle loves that, and the Drew Holiday fan number one over here, and my other banner I created here was that I miss him because Drew he's a baller, bro. But like that side of the trade, I have to admit, it hurts as a Bucks fan. From a Bucks standpoint, the Celtics getting Drew is a backfire to some degree.
Yeah. Like, you have to have thought that, I wonder if the Bucks thought about him going to another contender in the East after he
They
got
had to.
traded. I don't know. I know the Heat and the Sixers were also trying to get him, but I feel like him going to the Celtics is worst case scenario for the
for sure.
Bucks.
Absolutely.
because they've been so competitive out, these past 2-3 years.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like the Celtics starting lineup, it's stacked. They got Drew Holiday, Derek White, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and Kristaps with Al Horford coming off the bench. That's probably the best top 6 or one of the best top 6 guys in the league. The depth isn't as good right now, but
No.
in the playoffs, you ain't really need 7-8 guys though. So we just need 1 or 2 guys to, just be serviceable while people get rest.
And I said, throughout the last NBA season, when doing predictions on the Celtics, I always said they need a better point guard. If they got a point guard and a better center over Al Horford, they'd be set. They needed to shake that core up. Obviously, they thought Marcus Smart was the one to go. Now you replace him with Drew Holiday, who is better overall than Marcus Smart, 100%.
Oh, absolutely.
So that
yeah,
the Drew Holiday part of it to the Celtics, it does bring down the Dame trade for the Bucks, but because when you look at it on paper, it's like, oh, you got Damian Lillard and Giannis, 2 of the best players in the league. But we've seen through many teams that doesn't always work.
Yeah.
If you have, go ahead. What do you want to say?
I have a few things, but first, I have to touch on it doesn't always work. Oh, for sure, it doesn't always work. KD and Kyrie go team up in Brooklyn. Didn't work. Harden goes to the Sixers. Didn't work. But why I do think this is a little different is this isn't 2 superstars meeting up in a third place where there is zero familiarity. It's a total gamble. That's first. Second, the Bucks are 2 years removed from winning a title with pretty much this same core for the most part. Those 2 things, plus just the natural fit between Dame and Giannis, I think makes it different than the failures. It makes it much more like the successes, like when AD goes to the Lakers to join LeBron, or when the Celtics, Kyle, brought in Ray Allen and KG around Paul Pierce. I think when you do it that way, it's much less of a gamble. There's still some assimilation that needs to happen, but I don't think they should be concerned about that at all, especially because our cupboard was already bare in terms of picks that we had. Why not go all in? Giannis has been talking. He's been getting vocal about the Bucks needing to be aggressive. So I have zero problem with this at all. I think by the end of it, this seemed inevitable, even though it was a shock when it happened. But you look back, it's like this kind of had to happen.
Yeah. Giannis was, acting like he might have thought about leaving, and now I don't see how he could.
Right.
With Dame on his team for the next at least 3 years. I think that's what's left on Dame's contract.
Yep.
Obviously, they'll probably extend him if he's still, pretty good then. But I think this closes the book on Giannis even considering leaving the Bucks now.
I agree.
For now.
Barring catastrophic events.
Yeah.
But Drake, continue with where you were going. I just had to get my point in before I forgot.
I actually don't know where I was going, what I was saying anymore. But something that Kyle had said, Giannis doesn't think Giannis is leaving. Giannis did say that money doesn't matter. He's putting the pen to the paper. So seems like he's gonna stay now. I mean, now that they made some moves, obviously. They also said they didn't include him on letting Drew get traded.
Yeah, I saw that because the emotional connection he has to Drew.
For sure.
Yeah.
This deal wouldn't have happened.
So, with that aspect and that behind it, you don't think there's going to be anything wrong with that? The fact that the Bucks had to go behind Giannis's back to trade one of his favorite teammates away. Yeah, you bring in Dame, but you don't think that matters at all.
If it weren't Dame, if it was someone besides Dame, yes, that matters. If they did that for Kyrie or D'Angelo Russell, someone not just from a skill set standpoint, but Giannis clearly likes Dame. We're seeing all of this revisionist videos of, oh, look, he drafted him in the in the All-Star draft over Drew Holiday,
All-Star
which, you think duh, but Giannis picks his teammates. He likes Dame. There's reports that they've talked about teaming up. If that weren't the case, absolutely, I'd be terrified that if this doesn't work this year, he's gone. But with those factors, not a concern for me.
Oh, and Dame, for years, he's been doing interviews, and people would ask him what active player he'd want to play with the most, and his answer was always Giannis.
Right.
So it seems like those guys formed some sort of friendship relationship behind the scenes, just fans didn't know about.
Right. Which, again,
there was also though, there was a thing, like someone had asked Dame like 3 years ago or something, would you come to Milwaukee if Bud got fired? And he said nah. Yeah.
Well, time goes on. KD once tweeted that LeBron was soft for leaving to go win a ring somewhere else, and look where we are now.
Uncalled for.
Yeah, KD with 2 real Mickey Mouse rings.
Mickey Mouse rings. Pretty much. But not to harp too much on the Dame side, I do want to talk more about the Celtics side because, Kyle, I hate to admit it, but the Celtics have had the Bucks number. Like,
oh, yeah, big time, man.
Absolutely. And something Drake mentioned earlier. No, you can't. Like, yes, we did. We beat them. When was that? When you had Kyrie, but that's ancient.
Yeah, 2019.
Right, exactly. You've beaten us the most recent time. But that being said, Drake, what you said about the Celtics having needed a upgrade at point guard, they absolutely got one. And we all know I've been very vocal about how I think Drew is who Marcus Smart pretends to be. And I'm actually a Marcus Smart fan, but Marcus Smart is not quite as good a defender as Drew on ball, and he's a worse offensive player, in my opinion. So definitely an upgrade for Boston there. And he takes some pressure off of Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum in terms of them needing to be primary ball handlers in closing moments. So the Celtics absolutely came out like bandits. I do worry for them, for you, Kyle. Are you going to have enough bigs to stop Giannis or Embiid or whoever?
Embiid's only ever beat the Celtics. They played 3 playoff series now, and Embiid's only won 4 games against them in those 3 series, so I'm not worried about Embiid. The Celtics own the Sixers. I am worried about Giannis because Grant Williams was not our best Giannis defender, but he was just a big body that would take the hits, and then 2 other people would swarm him after Grant kind of slowed him down a bit, though.
Yeah.
Al Horford can do that too, but he's 37 now.
Yeah.
And if Kristaps tries, he's probably going to break in half and die.
And die. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point because Grant Williams, I was curious how you felt about him being gone because he's not not like someone who's stuffing the box score every week, but
he's a good you 7th man.
Yeah, very good for energy. Giannis stopper, and not just Giannis stopper. He bruises him up a little bit so that Giannis wears out by the end of the game.
Gets in his head a little bit too.
Yeah, he can't get in Jimmy Butler's head though.
No one can.
No one but Dame going to Milwaukee.
Turned him emo.
That was hilarious. Friggin' Jimmy being a Karen about the whole thing. But yeah, I don't want to get into predictions here yet. We're about 2 weeks from now, we'll be doing our prediction preview series for the NBA because tip-off, not kickoff, sorry.
Yeah, later this month.
The 20th, right? So
20, I think the 23rd is the first game.
23rd, okay.
So something,
right, so about 2 to 3 weeks out. So 2 weeks from now, we will actually do that preview. But overall, these trades, I think everyone came out really good. One last team I want to touch on. How do you feel about the Suns in this whole equation?
They traded Ayton, but it seems like everyone in that building hated him.
I know.
And I think Ayton is going to have a good year with the Trailblazers for sure.
Yeah. I think the Suns also just needed depth because they traded so much these past years to get Durant and Bradley Beal, So they just needed players like Grayson Allen. He's someone that could play in the playoffs at least.
Can he?
Is a guy
That's
off the
news
bench.
to me.
Maybe not
can play against the
start like he
Bulls.
was for the Bucks these past few years, but he can come off the bench for like 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. He just can't be out there in crunch time.
He can't be taking the game-winning shot like he did the last game of the Bucks.
What
season.
shot? He didn't get the shot off.
Attempting to get a shot off. He can't be the one doing that.
He can't take the game-losing dribble, is what you're saying.
Joe hates Grayson Allen.
I hate. No matter what, even when he's
people
lighting
do.
the Bulls on fire, I don't like him. His tweet about the number change was kind of funny.
Oh, what was that?
He was going to change his number again for the third time now with the Bucks, and he tweeted out saying like, Bucks fans, this is the last number change, I promise. And then news came out that he was traded, and he just responds, LOL. So RIP for anyone who bought a Grayson Allen jersey, but that's on you for buying a Grayson Allen jersey.
All the Wisconsin Duke fans are crying right now.
Wow. Aren't you a Duke fan?
I was. I don't care about them anymore.
Kyle's fandom is all over the place.
I only root for like two teams now, the Bears and the Celtics.
Brutal. Nah, Celtics are pretty good.
Yeah.
No
Other
denying
sport
it
is
there.
pretty brutal.
Pretty brutal. So using that as a segue, let's get over to week 4 now. And first off, Kyle, sorry that you weren't able to participate in this specific segment, but Drake and I both did picks last week, and Drake won. Moving on, but Drake won, had a fantastic week, 12-4 straight up versus my 10-6, including in the 4 games we disagreed on. Drake was 3-1 on those. So hats off, Drake.
Thanks. It's what I do.
It's what I do.
I mean, it's what I do. It's going to happen again this week. My picks are off the charts again. So it is what it is.
Off the charts. Kyle, do you remember or like have any idea on how you did on your picks when it was you, me, and Connor?
No, that was like 3 weeks ago. I don't remember.
All right, we'll just assume that was a 500 week for the sake of it.
Yeah.
But Drake, you won, but I've got to give myself a couple pats on the back, specifically that Broncos-Bears game, and Kyle will hear from you on this too. But when that first came up, Drake's like, tie, 3-3 tie, which was mostly a joke, but he was serious on the fact that like those no points were going to be scored. And I said, this is going to be a game where points are scored, and they certainly were. Bears front loaded it. Broncos came back. So I feel good about how I landed with those picks there. Kyle, for the game, how did you feel? How did you guys manage to blow that lead? I only really watched.
I knew it was going to happen. We got up 28-7, and I think we punted the ball after. It's like, oh, I looked over to my brother who I was watching the game with, and I said, we're going to lose this. And he just nodded his head in agreement. We knew we were going to lose. Like, Justin Fields, that was his best game as a pro, and we still lost. Like, Eberflus sucks. That 4th and 1 call was terrible at the end of the game where we should have just kicked it to take the lead instead of just giving them the ball back. It's just not good. Cole Kmet looks good, though. I like him.
And now you have DJ Moore in fantasy.
Yeah, he's been looking pretty good.
He has. I like DJ Moore a lot.
Cool Herbert was running the ball pretty good. Defense
the
still
one
sucks,
week I didn't start him.
Brutal.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I can't ask Drake for advice in fantasy. It always backfires.
Well,
It does. That's why I don't ask you either.
Against the Broncos, like their defense is terrible. Like any offensive player against the Broncos is an automatic start now.
So I work with a Broncos fan. Go up, Drake.
I was gonna say to be fair, you shouldn't have asked me like a Bears running back because you already knew that I thought the game was gonna be low scoring. So
you're right. You're absolutely right. But to Kyle's point about that Broncos defense, I work with a Broncos fan, and I asked him on when I got back to work this week, and I said, what is worse, giving up 70 to the Dolphins or 28 to the Bears? And he countered with, no, the question is what's worse, giving up 70 to the Dolphins or a near perfect passer rating to Justin Fields? And he said, by far, Justin Fields is worse.
Yeah, he completed 16 passes in a row until a Hail Mary attempt to end the first half.
Yep.
He was
all
dicing
jokes
them up.
aside, played an excellent half.
Yeah. Great.
But-
his best half is a Bear,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
he's still probably not going to be the quarterback next year because we have the top 2 picks in the draft right now. So
I don't foresee that staying the case, though. I feel
Me
like
either.
you'll have 2 top 10 picks, no doubt. But I think it'll be more like 4 and
Imagine-
6.
Imagine the Bears ruining Caleb Williams too.
and Marvin Harrison Jr. Don't forget him.
Exactly. That'd
Don't
be
forget we're going to ruin him.
Jesus.
No, that would be incredible if somehow you landed, 2 top 3 picks, even not even 1 and 2. That would be awesome. I don't see it happening because I do think from a pride standpoint that you guys got to win a game or 2 in the meantime.
You'd think, but
you'd
not
think.
sure.
But that being said, I do believe on the Panthers side that they will come around later in the year to where they rattle off like a 5-6 win season, even though they stink.
I say 3 or 4, maybe.
You got Drake's looking
Not
at
with
me
Bryce
like I'm
Young as their
crazy.
quarterback.
All right.
Not with Bryce Young as their quarterback.
Oh,
I wonder if they regret taking him and not CJ Stroud.
I
soon
would if
to
I was
tell.
them.
Stroud's I think he's 3rd in the league in passing yards right now.
yeah, he shredded the Steelers.
Yeah. I mean, he's shredded everybody.
Yep.
He's playing phenomenal.
Well, do you think the Bears regret trading number 1 and not taking either Stroud or Anthony Richardson?
I think the fans do. I don't know if like the team themselves does because they were all in on Justin Fields this offseason.
Yeah.
And then I really still can't tell if he's like bad or if we just have the worst coaches in the league. He's not good, but I think he's like mediocre.
Maybe.
I mean,
So-
I definitely think that I am, Joe's a Packer fan. You can't say that to him because he's going to say he sucks. I think Justin Fields he could be very good.
Very?
You guys' coaching staff is terrible.
Whoa. Very?
Very good.
Very good as in like Jalen Hurts.
Very good as in win some games.
Well, he
I
doesn't
think
do
he could
that.
be
So
around like
There's
Geno
a-
Smith.
there's a-
type
I
guy.
mean, yeah, there's not elite. Jalen Hurts is elite. I said very good. I didn't say elite. I didn't say Patrick Mahomes, so I don't know why you said Jalen Hurts. I said very good.
We'll come back.
There's levels to this, Joe.
okay. So
There,
the way I feel is that he could be a better version of Daniel Jones in the right system. An athlete who can hit some throws. And
Daniel
everyone
Jones
knows
is
I hate
terrible.
Daniel Jones. He is. But I said better version.
So what does that mean though? Like I said,
25th
mediocre.
best
I think-
quarterback.
I think he's a better version of Daniel Jones right now.
Maybe, just not performance-wise.
What does that even mean, Joe?
What do you mean?
I disagree.
I think his talent is better. Yes.
I think
do I think he has a
his
better arm? Yes. Do I
performance-wise
think
is
he's
there, too.
faster? Yes. What?
Performance-wise, he's better too.
Maybe, but Daniel Jones hasn't gotten to play the Broncos.
Daniel Jones probably has like 300 yards of total offense this year.
Dude, I don't like Daniel Jones. I've been like king of that bus. Don't make me argue about
No,
like,
you
him.
are, but you're saying that you said that maybe performance-wise, Justin Fields isn't a
Let me
better
clarify.
version of Daniel Jones, but performance-wise, he has performed better than Daniel Jones. The Giants have just won more, but that's because they have a better coaching staff and a better defense.
Yes. So I should have been more clear. I meant like Daniel Jones last year to where he was objectively effective. Like I make a lot of jokes about the 15 touchdown passes and all that, but objectively he was effective. Was he good? No, but he was effective. I think he could be a tick better than that if he had a Daboll, if he had a good old line.
Maybe.
I mean,
Hard to
we
tell.
may never
we don't
find
know.
out.
Yeah, I mean,
Which-
the Bears organization has just ruined quarterbacks, good college quarterbacks, and they've just never had a good one. So who knows?
Yeah.
Is it
that's
Justin
true.
Fields' fault, or is it just the C that is in Chicago?
That's why they
Who?
changed the bear logo this year.
Yeah, they're not the toilet seat anymore, but they're playing like what's
I know.
inside the toilet bowl. They lost the toilet bowl. That's
Yeah.
what I called it last week. That sucks. Or it could be
I
great
know.
if you get Caleb.
But we'll probably just ruin him too. And then like 3 years, we'll just be like, oh, we're going to get John Smith or whoever's the next big quarterback at the time, you know?
John Smith,
Yeah, and
man. Pocahontas is
3 years
upset.
3 years later, everyone's going to be saying, "Oh, Caleb Williams is terrible," but
Wow.
it's just where he lies.
Wow. All right. Well, now that we spent that much time on the toilet bowl,
Had to be
another, huh?
It had to be done, though. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
a game that had to be talked about.
Yeah, it did. It was a good game. Enjoyable from a fan perspective.
Scott Hansen didn't have a name for it though. Kind of upset.
I know. I think I'm taking his job. No, Scott Hansen's a goat. But another thing, last two things of me patting my back, I swear. So I talked
We
about
spent
how
more minutes patting your back on one segment than my 12-4 victory win.
yeah, we talked about this. You get a good job, and then I get to just sit here.
And then you
just be
get
like,
segment. Yeah. All right. Go ahead.
well, because I want to talk about some things in result of this. So first of which, I talked about how I thought the Commanders would hang in with the Eagles, but not win, but they would cover. I picked them to cover. That was one of my thread in the needle picks that I was right on. And it goes to the Eagles side, like they're 4-0. You can't, they're not going to apologize for winning, like Mike Tomlin said last week. But they've looked just so ugly. Week in and week out, they've looked ugly. You mentioned Jalen Hurts earlier, and I wanted to put a pin in that and circle back with that because you said he's elite. He's struggling this year. And how much of that is the new coordinators and how much of that is this offense or this team regressing a little bit?
Well, I mean, they won 13 games last year, 14 games, something like that.
14 or 15.
Oh, yeah. So, that's hard to do again, even though it looks like they might be able to do it, at this pace. It's only been 4 weeks.
Right.
But I've still been impressed. Jalen Hurts is still making the big throws to Smith and Brown when he needs them. So I think and DeAndre Swift looks amazing. So I don't know. I think their offense, they have some clunky plays where they can still get it done. And their defense is still elite. So I'm not worried about the Eagles right now.
You think the defense is still elite? I have questions about the defense.
I think it's the new coordinator. They're getting used to it. I think they maybe not elite, but they can get the job done to win the games late in games still, like they have been so far this year. I think they can get back to the elite level with Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter, developing more throughout the season.
I have no questions about them. That front is awesome. Awesome. I have questions about the back end.
Their DBs are kind of banged up right now, I'm pretty sure. I think Bradbury's been dealing with some injuries. So I'm not worried about the Eagles. I still think they're a Super Bowl contender.
Drake?
I think you're overreacting a little bit because they got new coordinators. It's week 4. They're still, they're in close games, but they're still winning the close games.
Yep.
They're not finding a way to lose. They're finding ways to win. Jalen Hurts, like Kyle said, he's still making the elite style throws. He's still, performing as a passer, which was everybody's fall for him. Last year he's still not a passer, but he's still proving that he can pass the ball and make the throws and be smart with the football. The Eagles, I'm not worried about the Eagles. They're still good. It's week 4, and they're winning. There's teams like the Bengals who it's week 4, and you're like, well, are we worried about them? But then it's like, it's week 4 and the Eagles, and I'm not worried about them. It takes time when you got an elite offense that was just in the Super Bowl who had everything working for them, and now you got new coordinators.
Yeah.
That's going to take at least some time to get something rolling.
And it shows their last coordinator, like their last coordinator has the Colts offense looking amazing right now.
Yeah.
So it shows how good he was at his job too. And like, you can't expect a new guy to be, at his level right away.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. There's growing pains. There's transition. So I think you guys are both fair in your assessment. Like, they are still very much contenders. And the fact that they're 4-0 while they're figuring it out, like, props to them. So maybe once they get healthy, once they get fine tuned, this will all be something we kind of forget about. So that's totally fair there. And Kyle, you bring up Shane Steichen and the success that he's had with Indianapolis. Like, even just them being 2-2 without Jonathan Taylor has been a huge success. And last week I picked the Rams to beat them, but I have to admit I was scared by the end.
Well, that was a very good game.
They don't have JT, and they didn't have Anthony Richardson for a game too.
But they won that game.
So, exactly. But yeah, but still, he's doing a great job.
Yeah.
Because they won a game without their starting quarterback, who is a very good quarterback.
They do probably have one of the better backups, though, in Gardner Minshew.
Okay, Jay.
Oh, yeah. That was crazy, dude.
Yeah, so a little background information. So Jay, my cousin, and Kyle, Drake, obviously you guys both know Jay. We'll got to get him on here soon. But he was saying the other day about Joe Burrow stinking it up and how, like, they need to trade for Gardner Minshew and bench Burrow for the season. Partially a joke, but he is like the king of the Gardner Minshew would be a really good quarterback if he got a chance train. Like, so a little background information there.
Gross.
He also just hates Joe Burrow, so.
Yeah, I guess so. That's kind of what it's looking like. We'll let him defend himself in the future. But now that I'm done patting myself on the back, so we kind of predicted this in a way. I cursed the Dolphins. I cursed them. I pick against them 2 weeks in a row. They look fantastic. And then as soon as I'm like, all right, I'm done picking against them, and I pick them, and then the Bills stomp them, and all of a sudden no one's talking about the Dolphins as Super Bowl favorites anymore. But let's not overreact. It is really early. What do you guys think about the Dolphins now that we've seen them have a misstep?
I'm not worried about their offense. Oh, you can go ahead, Drake.
Exactly. No, go ahead. Go ahead. I was just going to say it's the Bills,
Yeah. They played a conference rival who's also a Super Bowl contender. Like, yeah, they probably wanted the game to be closer, but sometimes that shit just happens, But I'm not worried about their offense, but their defense kind of got gashed that whole game.
Yeah.
I know they're missing Jalen Ramsey, who would probably slow down Stephon Diggs just a little bit. But I am worried about their defense a little bit, stopping other high-powered offenses. But I'm not worried about their offense. I still think they can put up, points with anybody. They said some things not go their way this week. A couple turnovers, but I'm not worried about the Dolphins right now.
And, like I said, they played the Bills. The Bills have a good defense. The Bills have, when their offense is clicking, they're one of the best offenses in the league. Obviously, they have been. Stephon Diggs had a phenomenal game. Like you said, Jalen Ramsey would be able to slow that down. So their defense is very patchy, very rough, suspect. But yeah, I mean, their offense is. It's a rival game, like you said, shit happens. They play again, so we'll see.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Like, let's not like right now we're kind of at that stage of the NFL season where it's like Game of Thrones. It's like, whoever just had the most impressive game is like king of the world, and whoever just lost that you thought was king of the world, their season's over. Like that's the way it goes. But I do want to bring this up because I think something about this is real. Like Dolphins obviously looked like world beaters after putting up 70, hanging 70 on the Broncos. I felt like a moron picking the Broncos over them, which I was for that.
Yeah.
But for the other stuff, to your point, Kyle, on the defense, like the Chargers had their way with that defense. Dolphins came out, they got the W, good for them. Then the next week, they won a pretty tight game against the Patriots, but that Patriots defense gave some trouble to that Dolphins offense. And then the Bills obviously did again here too. So Bills and the Patriots, two teams that are familiar with the Dolphins, gave them trouble. Do you think that is a thing to where like the Mike McDaniel offense, like if you've gone against it, if you've seen it before, you can present problems that a team like the Broncos cannot, like a team unfamiliar? Do you think that's a thing to where teams that are more familiar with them will continue to be a thorn in their side?
Well, I think that happens with any team that plays each other a lot. They're going to pick up on stuff. Like you said, the Broncos wouldn't because they play every couple years compared to twice every season. But I still think Mike McDaniel's, one of the best offensive play callers in the league, and their offense is still going to be elite throughout the year. Even though, in their division games, they might not look as good because, those coaches have picked up on different formations and stuff they do, different play call tendencies. But I still think McDaniel's offense is going to be one of the best throughout the league all year.
Yeah. Drake?
And those two, the Bills and the Patriots, those are two defenses that are always talked about as the best defenses in the league. Belichick is going to pick up on play calls and formations and stuff. So I guess to an extent in that specific division, yeah. But, like I said, those are two elite defenses in the league. So.
Okay. And that's fair, Kyle. Like you mentioned, like when teams are familiar, there is kind of like some of that back and forth nature that comes with it.
Yeah.
But it is concerning for one reason. The Bills are one of the top contenders that they have to go through most likely. Now, they've had some success against the Bills too. So I don't think this is like the Dolphins are screwed if they run into the Bills sort of thing. Nothing like that. What I am saying is that maybe to some degree, some of the NFL can catch up a little bit to the Dolphins, like to where, they have at least something that they can do to where they're not toothless. I agree. Mike McDaniel, the offense he runs, I love it. I love the motion. Drake knows I'm a huge fan of motion, especially when you do it for Tyreek. Him getting a running start is just unfair.
Well, and now A-Chain too.
A-Chan,
my bad.
A-Chan, whatever it is.
He looks like such a big red zone weapon. They can just like do anything with him, and he can just get the ball. He's so fast. I saw someone compare him to on Twitter. That he looks like a year like 1 or 2 Tyreek, like the stuff like they're doing with him, like the way he runs with the ball. Even though they play different positions, but like they just move similarly because they're both freakishly fast.
Jeff Wilson better not take away from him and Mostert.
Oh, I hope not. Well, Mostert's going to get hurt and miss like 3-4 weeks like he always does.
Yep.
Yeah, and then A-Chan looks good, but I don't know why, but Jeff Wilson, I am scared that he'll come take some. He's definitely going to take some reps. I hope he doesn't take a lot of production, but I think A-Chan will probably be the starter eventually. He looks very good.
Oh yeah, I agree. How about on the flip side, the Bills?
It's just the speed of the Dolphins' offense,
Yeah.
Yeah, they barely even used Jalen Waddle that game.
That's scary. Well, the previous game too.
Yeah.
Well, he was out
that game.
Yeah. But yes, on the flip side, the Bills, again, this kind of Game of Thrones sort of setup to where, whatever is the most recent thing that happened is the most important thing. They just beat the team we previously were anointing. So now everyone in turn is starting to anoint the Bills. They had a crucial loss, losing Tre'Davious White, which obviously no one likes to see. We were excited to get him back. He's a top 10 corner in this league. But outside of that, it was all roses for the Bills. What takeaways do you have from them after that game?
These are the Bills
I'm
you
not-
thought we're going to get coming into the year. Like, they struggled a little bit early in the season. Well, it still is early in the season, but you know what I mean, the first couple weeks.
Yeah.
But, yeah, the Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs connection is strong as it's ever been. And they're getting Von Miller back, so, that's a huge thing for their defense, even though, like you said, they did lose White for the season with an Achilles tear, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but that front seven, adding Von Miller to what's already a top 5 front seven, whoa.
I can't do it. Every year you get the Bills beat they beat the Raiders, the Commanders, and the Dolphins. It's significantly too. All 3 games
Blew them out.
Then they lose a close game to the Jets.
Yep.
Obviously, that's week 1, but the Bills are known for losing close games.
Yeah.
They're known for losing in the playoffs. They're known for losing to other powerhouse teams. This year I told myself that I'm not overhyping the Bills because it's the same thing every year. Yeah, Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, that connection is A, it's a fantasy cheat code, and B, it's just 1 week it's 4 touchdowns or 3 touchdowns this week. It's just, I think it's not fraudulent, but because it's elite, the team's elite, the defense is elite, but it's just not gonna do anything. It doesn't every year. They're not. It's gonna be talks because they're gonna win all these games and they're gonna put up 30, 40 points, but then they're gonna lose, the close ones. They're gonna lose to the Chiefs and this and that, and then it's they're Super Bowl contenders. No. I'm not doing it this year. Can't do it.
Yeah, that's fair. They're one of those teams to where we know that they can be, the supreme September team. We know that. So I think there's some truth to that, Drake. And it's really going to be, show it. Show us, please. Show us you could beat the Jags this week in London in a close game. Show us you can beat the Chiefs later this year, whatever it is. So I think there's some validity to that, Drake, which again goes to the overreaction nature of where we are now. So I'm with you. Super impressive start. Still a team to be reckoned with. They still look like a 12 type win team. So they're very much a contender, but they are a team that I need to see them do it when it really matters to fully buy into.
100%.
Now, on the flip side, a team that everyone is absolutely abandoning. This is like people loading in the longboats off the Titanic. The Bills, 1-3, or no, excuse me, the Bengals, 1-3.
I was going to say,
just got curb stomped by the Titans of all teams. Where do we stand on them?
I'm out on them. Burrow looks
I'm out.
Burrow looks a lot more injured than I think they let on. And Jamar Chase is getting fed up, and him and Burrow are best friends since LSU. And if he's getting that mad at him about, in his interview, he was saying he's open every play.
He's always open.
Always open. I'm out on them this season. I think Burrow, his injury, he needs to sit for a while. And if he does, they're going to be out of it. And they'll be having, I think, a top 10, 15-ish pick this year.
1-3, the offense just looks terrible. Burrow's playing terrible. If he is playing through an injury, he should have just sat these 4 games, healed up, and came back. Whatever. This week, if he sat the first 3 games, came back this week, or he sat the first 4, whenever he was actually healthy, to actually be a good team. But I'm out now. I can't. You want to say, oh, it's Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. I don't want to be out. I'm out.
All right. Now you guys put me in a predicament. Part of me wants to give myself a big old round of applause for picking the Bengals to miss the playoffs preseason. That's part of me. Now the other part of me wants
Joe
to say,
loves patting himself on the back. I feel like nobody pats you on the back enough. You gotta pat yourself on the back.
someone's got to do it. I mean, when I'm right, I'm right. So part of me wants that, but part of me wants to also be realistic that, yes, the sky seems like it's falling right now, but they've got the Cardinals this week. Who says they don't bounce back and sit at 2-3 and all of a sudden they're a game out? Yes, the Cardinals are no joke. I understand that. And the Bengals look like a bottom 5 team right now. But Joe Burrow is still Joe Burrow. I don't care if he's injured. Yes, that's affecting him. It seems that way. I believe that Ja'Marr Chase quote is overblown right now. Listen to the full thing. When you read the quote, it sounds like he's pissed. It sounds like he's like, man, Joe Burrow sucks. Get him out of here. But you listen to the whole thing, it's like I'm mostly joking. But yes, their offense has been dreadful. Yes, I am someone who's been a believer that Joe Burrow is a tad bit overrated, but he is still an elite quarterback. Ja'Marr Chase and T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd is still an elite trio of receivers. The Bengals get better as the year goes on. I don't think it's over yet. Do I think they're going to make the playoffs? Personally, no. But it's not over yet. It's week 5. I think everyone needs to relax. Burrow needs to be out there. He needs to be playing unless he can't.
It kind of looks like he shouldn't be playing, though.
As of right now, exactly. As of right now, he can't be playing. He can't. And, what'd you say? It's still Joe Burrow. He's still Joe Burrow. He's not playing like Joe Burrow. He's got 2 touchdown passes, and those came in 1 game. He's got 2 touchdowns, 2 picks with terrible ratings,
He looks like he's fighting to stay in the league right now, but obviously, he's not, but that's how he's playing.
He sure isn't fighting for that contract he just signed.
I think this is a little prisoner of the moment, guys. I really do. Yes, he's had an awful stretch here.
How many weeks are we going to give him? We're a quarter away through the season.
I'll give him 2 more.
Okay. Well, in 2 more when he has 3 touchdowns, I want you to. If he's playing through an injury, like I'm not doubting Joe Burrow's skill. I like Joe Burrow and I'm a Steelers fan, but right now, he's playing terribly, and if it's the injury, then like I said, he should have sat. He shouldn't have played these 4 games.
Maybe it is the injury. Maybe it's that Zach Taylor is finally being exposed for the mediocre coach I think he's always been.
Zach Taylor is terrible.
But let's get a little bit more positive and move along here to our medalists instead of dogging on Joe Burrow and the Bengals. Let's talk about who deserves some praise for this past week. Kyle, start us off with your bronze medalist.
I'm giving it to Justin Fields, even though they lost the game. This was by far his best game he's had as a pro. Even though they lost and they're playing the Broncos defense, you want him to do good against a terrible defense like that, and that's what he did. He looked confident out there. I think he deserves some praise, even though his team lost.
I'm not mad about it.
My bronze, Kyle, usually I do 2, okay? For at least one of them. I'm like, I got to give it to 2 because I can't decide. This was 1. It's the 2 guys that I hate. I hate them both. You already picked the 1, so I'm not going to touch on that at all, but it was Justin Fields and Zach Wilson. If we're giving medals for this week, Zach Wilson deserves a bronze medal. I don't like Zach Wilson. I probably would never, ever put him in one of these medalist things, but Zach Wilson played a phenomenal game against the Chiefs. He had a game, and that's all you could say. I've seen some throws that I never thought I would see Zach Wilson make or even anywhere be able to ever make. He made very good decisions. He was very poised and very confident. He had a good completion percentage. He threw for 245 with 2 touchdowns. He did have that fumble, But with that fumble, I like the way he handled himself in the post-game press conference, at least learning from last year, all the negative effects that it had on the team and himself with the way he responded last year. At least he changed it this year. So Zach Wilson gets my bronze.
Two things can be true. Justin Fields and Zach Wilson can both have had the best games of their career. That can be very true. Zach Wilson can have shown maturity and growth as a human being and as a professional athlete. Those can be true. What is also true, though, unfortunately for those guys, is they both made the game-losing play. Regardless of what you want to pencil it up to, like at the end of the day, they did. So their A-plus performances for me drop down to Bs. Like still overall net positive, reason to be happy, but I can't put them on my big board here when they made the game-losing plays.
The bronze medal. If Zach Wilson wouldn't have played the way he played, they would have never been in that situation in general. They would have been whopped by the Chiefs.
Okay. Well, for reference, my bronze medal is Josh Allen. Josh Allen, the quarterback, who just had an excellent game of 3 touchdowns, no picks, 350 yards against the Dolphins. Like, that's a bronze medalist right there.
I feel like
that's a bronze medal.
Player, yeah.
I mean,
No,
okay, so what are you going to do? Silver's going to be Stephon Diggs and gold is going to be Christian McCaffrey? Ooh, let's just, let's go off stats. I thought these were a medalist for this week. Josh Allen didn't do anything spectacular.
He did, though. He had the best quarterback week.
He played a normal Josh Allen game. That's a typical 3 touchdowns is a typical Josh Allen week.
Not without any turnovers, though. But
you didn't put Justin Herbert last week.
Maybe I should have.
Medalist.
It changes every week. There's no method to the madness here.
But I'm just saying, you can't hate on me and Kyle, and your bronze is Josh Allen.
He's a dog. He had a dog performance, but these guys edged him out for me. I hope these guys are somewhere on your lists, but silver for me is Devon Witherspoon.
Yeah, he played a really good game. I think he had a pick 6 and 2 sacks.
Yeah, that's impressive for
7 tackles too. Lockdown.
I think that's only his 3rd game in the league too, because he didn't play week 1. Crazy. Sure. Illinois guy.
Yep. Hell yeah. I love Witherspoon. Drake, back to you in this snake order. Silver, who edged out the Zach attack?
As much as I hated on you for putting Josh Allen as your bronze, I put Stephon Diggs for my silver.
It's a normal Stephon Diggs game.
6 for 123 touchdowns, virtually unstoppable, is not normal for Stephon Diggs. Maybe 80 and a touchdown is normal, but 60, 120, and 3 could not be guarded. Not normal.
I had CMC as my silver medalist this week. 4 touchdowns, looked unstoppable out there. Looks like he's probably going to win Offensive Player of the Year. If it had to be given out right now, it'd probably be him. So yeah, use my silver this week.
I like that pick. What about gold?
Khalil Mack, 6 sacks in 1 game. That's insane. Yep. He looks like the Khalil Mack from like his first couple of years with the Bears and his last few with the Raiders. Just looked insane out there.
Agreed.
Can't say much, but Devon Witherspoon was my gold. For all the reasons we already went over.
Dog. And my goal was Khalil Mack. So me and Kyle were on the exact same page there. There we go. See, it started off a little hostile here with the bronze medalists. I don't know who started that, but anyways,
you just don't like giving bad players credit when they do good.
Yeah, for real. It's just like these are weekly medals. Like this was a medalist week for Zach Wilson.
Whoa. Come on, I gave them credit. I gave them both a B performance.
Okay.
So
I don't grade on a
yeah,
curve
I
because
mean,
you're bad. I'm sorry.
it's
I don't
not a
grade on a
curve.
curve.
It's a bronze medal. You're literally like,
What do you mean? Yes,
it's
bronze
not
medal.
grading on a curve.
Yes, it is, because I'm trying to give out medalists for 3 players, teams, coaches, whatever, across 32 teams.
But you're not backing yourself up here because Christian McCaffrey should have been on your list then if you're gonna give Josh Allen your bronze freaking medal.
Okay. He's coming up again for me soon, so that's part of the reason why I didn't include him in terms of medalists.
You just talked about the Bills and Josh Allen for the last 10 minutes.
That's
In our
true.
last segment.
That's true. Whatever. Medalists. Good job, guys. We're moving on here, so we're done with that. We are returning a different segment here, gas or pass, but with a twist this time. Instead of about rumors, this is going to be us bringing our own personal takes or predictions to the table and letting the panel decide gas or pass. I personally came to the table with 3. How many do you guys got?
I also came with 3 because you told me to come with 3.
Good.
I came with
3 everyone
because
followed
you
direction.
said to come with 3.
Well, sometimes, Drake, you decide to come with like 6, or sometimes you come with 2. So, I mean, I have to ask.
It evens out at the end.
To be honest, I have 4 listed, and I'm just going to choose which one I want to leave off.
Oh, I've got 3 because you told me to come with 3. Okay. All right. Drake.
Just in case one of you take mine, you know.
You might. Get us started, though, Drake. Mr. Doesn't listen to the rules.
All right. My first one is that CJ Stroud is not a fluke, and he's going to be the best quarterback in this draft, in this class.
I agree. He's 3rd in the league in passing yards right now. You know, most rookies pretty bad their first couple weeks in the league, but he looks like just fine. So I agree with that.
I'm going to pass. I wish there was an option for hold where I could just wait and buy myself time, but
it's your game. You can do that.
No, that's cheating. I'm going to pass because obviously I was high on Bryce Young. I'm not going to abandon him quite yet, but also the fact that Anthony Richardson does look really good too. Obviously Stroud looks the best so far, but I'm not ready to abandon my previous convictions based on the mid amount of college football I watch.
You said bold statements.
No, that's fair. That's fair. I don't hate the topic.
I think it's gas because, I mean,
you brought it to the table. I hope you think it's gas. Like, I'm not going to come to the table saying, like, I don't even know what a good example
Justin
would be.
Fields will win MVP.
Right, exactly. And then be like, well, I think it's a pass. All right, Kyle.
Then clearly I misunderstood the instructions because there's one on here that I think is pass.
He came up with his worst take ready.
It's just one I've seen, and I was like, this is terrible.
You could still bring it to the table, I guess. But Kyle, go ahead.
As of right now, I think the Bills have solidified themselves as the AFC favorite after this last week.
I'm going to pass.
All right.
I'm going to pass, too.
I thought you guys would after hearing you guys talk about them earlier.
That's no,
I like them for sure. So it's not like it's a bad take. I just, for all the things we talked about earlier, favorites, I can't go there.
Only in the AFC. Only in the AFC.
I hear that, but problem is in the AFC, the Chiefs are still there.
They're not looking too good so far yet, though.
Yeah, I've seen that movie before. All right. Here's a fun one. Gas or pass. The Giants stink. They're stuck with Daniel Jones, so they're going to stink. After this year, Daboll should quit in the offseason and go get a better job.
I think the first half of that is gas. The Giants do
Yeah.
stink, but I don't think there's only 32 of these jobs available. I don't know if he's just going to quit.
31 of them are better.
I don't know about that. One of the team I root for is pretty bad. Pretty bad job.
Well, if you get Caleb Williams, it's better.
Maybe.
I think that Daboll stays right where he is, and I think you just get rid of Daniel Jones and tank for Caleb and get rid of Daniel Jones. Take the hit and let Daboll blossom into the coach that everybody knows he is. But yeah, you don't just up and quit, a team that, you have had a lot of success with yourself, him as a whole himself, coaching wise, not record wise, or not good, blah, blah, blah. But I'm saying him as himself has a lot of success, putting it in place that he's a great coach. I don't think you just quit. Maybe you sabotage yourself and have the Giants release you, but
I think he has an out. The moment that they paid Daniel Jones $45 million, it proved that they weren't serious about winning. So he can leave, and I wouldn't be mad at him.
Where's he going to go?
Anywhere. The Chargers. The Vikings aren't going to fire.
The Chargers are your
Bears.
go-to. You just told me that Belichick should go to the Chargers.
He should.
What?
Everybody should go to the Chargers.
That would be a great job for a good coach.
I should get Coach Kyle.
Okay. All right. Moving on. My second one here, since I didn't talk about him earlier, Christian McCaffrey is a beast. We all know that, but he should be the MVP front runner right now.
I also had that one.
Yo.
I said he should be in MVP conversations, but so that's gas.
I talked last week about how I'm sick of this MVP being a quarterback award because 100% Christian McCaffrey is the front runner. I don't care if whatever, it's a quarterback award. No, Christian McCaffrey's MVP right now.
Hell yeah.
And if he stays healthy and performs like this, he wins the MVP. I don't care. And if not, then that award means absolutely nothing.
Wow.
Agreed.
I love it. Good stuff, guys. I'm lagging. I don't know if you guys are seeing my picture lag a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You are.
Let me remove myself for a moment and come right back in.
What are you while you're gone?
We just wait, I guess. Wait for you to get back.
Is he gone already? I don't know.
I don't know. Look at him. Oh, there he is. Joe?
Oh, now he's gone?
Okay. Now he's gone.
What if he just never comes back? Do we just wait for him? Or
I
is that
think I
just
see
the
him down
episode? Or I don't. Damn.
Oh, he just texted me. I guess the episode's over. Wait. Oh, he said continue. Whatever that
All
means. Right. I mean, we gotta wait for him because he's part of this segment.
Yeah, I think CMC pretty good. Yeah,
I
like
mean
him.
MVP.
I
wish I had him in more fantasy leagues, but
I have him in none. Sucks.
Yeah,
I haven't won a game in your league yet. I'm doing.
Yeah, I know.
Bad.
Joe told me you don't like our league.
It's fine. It's just I don't like it because I don't win. I always play the wrong people every week.
Yeah, that's true.
Never once have I.
True.
And I'll look on it, and my bench put up like more points than all my starters. I'm like, oh, I did it again somehow. So
it's my team is bad too. I mean, I got Justin Jefferson. Like 1 week, I'll put up 170, and then it's like 90.
Yeah, that's
so.
Most fantasy football has just been weird this year so far. Players, early season.
And there's the other new guy who came in with you. He's fucking dominating the league.
Oh, he's back.
Back and I'm better.
We didn't want to
Alright.
continue because we need you to be a part of the segment. So we just talked about fantasy.
I heard I lost you guys couldn't hear me, but I still heard and saw you guys just fine. So I don't really have any clue what was going on.
You're pretty good now.
Yeah, you're a lot better.
Now
Yeah.
we swapped. Now I'm in the host seat, so back to, the OG days.
Do you want to take over?
Well, I mean, it's my turn technically anyway, so
Okay.
now my next take. It's Kyle's turn.
Oh, you're getting booted then.
Oh shit! No, I'm main guy now. We already talked about CMC, but I guess my third
Tad
one
talk.
is Josh Dobbs has been better than Daniel Jones this season.
Gas.
Yeah, Dobbs
Fuck
should
Daniel
have
Jones.
I don't know why he always been fighting to be in the league. He's pretty decent. I don't know. You could be a
What
fringe
you
starter somewhere.
What a better gasser pass would have been if you would have said that Josh Dobbs should remain the starter all season.
That would have been tough.
That is more of a hotter take because you got Kyler Murray dealing with that pup stuff. Is he coming back? Is he not coming back? Are they shipping him? Should Josh Dobbs remain the starter for them? Do they bring Kyler Murray back in? Do they ship him?
I don't
know. That situation there is weird.
I think Kyler, he tore his ACL late in the season last year, so I think it'd probably be smarter for him to just keep sitting for a while. Because while they're not winning, they are competitive with Dobbs, and it's like a new coaching staff and regime that really has no connection to Murray. And if they think Dobbs is their guy for at least this season, why not? It's not like you're really going to try to compete for anything.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's fair. I mean, man, that's a tough one. Yeah, Kyle, your first one.
Sorry to put a spin off on your.
Yeah, it's fine. I didn't really know how this segment worked, so
it changes.
Yeah. All right, so now it's mine because I've only done one. Unless you are still struggling with your answer to the Kyler Murray thing. I mean, I don't know if you want to.
I just want to give it.
I was just kind of piggybacking off of pass
on him being moved.
I'm gonna pass on sticking with Dobbs over Murray for the rest of the year. It would just be a mistake to abandon Kyler Murray at his lowest value when no one's gonna want to trade for him. I'm gonna pass.
All right.
But that's not a bad topic. Like, it was tough.
Now, mine, and Joe, you know how much I don't like this guy. But mine is that this year is Baker Mayfield's comeback season, and the Bucs are going to be a sneaky playoff team.
I think that's gas, yeah. They look pretty good so far. They could easily win that division. It's pretty weak. And Baker is looking, what he looked like with the Browns the year they went to the playoffs. So, yeah, I think I like that one.
I'll go gas. I would have passed if they lost to the Saints, but now that they have that leg up, sneaky playoff team.
I like it.
Okay.
Because I think Drake, Baker Mayfield's having a good year.
I know. I was going to say I'm surprised that you gave any respect. All right. Well, what's your third of your four as we continue the snake order?
So this is more of a gas or pass question, I guess you could say. It's not more of a statement. It's more of a question.
Oh, my God.
So last year, there was all the talk that the Eagles were the worst winning record team in the league. This year, that same talk is happening. is this year more legit that statement is true than last year, if that makes any sense. Like, is it more true that the Eagles are the worst undefeated, like, winning record team right now than it was when they were saying it last year when they ended up in the Super Bowl?
I guess
So
they are looking rough right now, so I guess you could say that's true. But pretty sure the Vikings were the worst like winning record team last year.
yeah, definitely.
But
It
yeah,
was-
the Eagles definitely do
It
look,
was them, but it was the Eagles and the Vikings, you know, the
yeah.
soft teams, and NFC was soft, this and that. But
I'll,
who-
I'll say it's gas.
who knows what would have happened with the Eagles and the 49ers, but whatever. Gas?
Yeah, not because
As
they're a bad
in-
team, like we talked about earlier. But I think that defensive backfield struggling is real. You know, they lost CJ Gardner-Johnson, for instance. And that is, you know, that's a spot where they are worse. And then I think the new coordinators, even if they are good, are they better than Shane Steichen and Jonathan Gannon? I don't know.
They both got head coaching jobs, so as of right
Exactly.
now, I'd
So, like,
say-
that's a very hard bar to clear. So, they may still be very close to as good as they were. But if the gas or pass statement was like framed like, are the Eagles more suspect this year than last? You know, something along those lines, I would say gas.
yeah.
They still look great for the future, though, with Jalen Carter, especially. Like,
Yeah.
major hit there.
Oh, the interior D line is going to be nasty, even more nasty with those, him and Jordan Davis in a few years once they hit like their prime,
And if Nolan Smith ever turns in anything,
and all their other Georgia guys they have.
whoever they draft next year.
Yeah.
I like it. Kyle?
Well, we already talked about CMC, so I already went through mine kind of.
All right. Drake, what was your fourth?
well, it's just like I said, it's one I've seen, and it's that Bill Belichick's time in the league should be over.
Pass.
I agree with that. What else does he have to like prove? If I was him, I'd walk away because I don't want my like career record to just look worse year after year because they have a shitty team now. That's why I would if I was him though. Because like I have no motivation. I won 6 Super Bowls. I the game's changing around him. I don't know. I'd walk away if I was him.
Speaking of game changing around him, I also seen a lot of talk that the new NFL's new offensive aging game has passed Bill Belichick.
Pass.
I agree with that.
So you gas?
Why,
Yeah.
Joe? The Patriots suck. They've sucked for the last 2 years.
They do,
They
but I don't
sucked
think
for
that's
almost
because
the
of
last
Belichick
3
as the
years.
coach. I don't think that's because of Belichick as the coach. That's Belichick as the GM. They don't have the talent.
At some point, you got to stop thinking
It's
about his
Belichick
past
in
and
general.
think about how he's doing now.
Yes, they
It's
still
Belichick
have a
in
good
general
defense.
as a whole.
They still have a good defense.
You can't say Belichick as a GM and Belichick as a head coach. It's Belichick in general. If he's playing GM, then it's still an issue.
That's part of it.
It is part of it, but you said in terms of defense, and that is absolutely just an incorrect statement. They
Well,
still have top 10 type defenses every year.
this year they've been struggling.
Yeah, but look who they've played. They've played the Eagles in the Super Bowl last year. The Dolphins average like 50 points a game, damn near. And then the Cowboys, who are, I think, going to the Super Bowl this year. Like the only time they didn't play an elite offense, they played the Jets and held them to 10 points. That same Jets team that we just hailed for Zach Wilson's career best game last week. Like, yes, are they going to make playoffs? No. Are the Patriots, do they have a good future? Also, no. But Belichick's defense is not the problem.
Belichick is he's over. He's not Andy Reid.
I didn't say he was.
Andy Reid can keep win. I'm just saying Andy Reid can keep winning in this league. Belichick clearly cannot.
Andy Reid has Patrick Mahomes.
It's time. But you're talking about Belichick's great defenses, the great, so did Tom Brady make Belichick?
No.
Because he can't win with Mac Jones.
Mac Jones is terrible.
Yeah, he sucks.
The NFL has changed. This is true.
That quarterback draft is looking pretty bad. What was that, the 2021 QB draft? Besides Trevor Lawrence?
Well, 2021, COVID, yeah.
Yeah, that whole quarterback draft is looking pretty rough with, Wilson and Lance and Fields and Jones all looking pretty mediocre to bad. So, yeah, that was a rough draft for quarterbacks.
Is that the J Love draft?
No, that was the year before.
Hmm.
Old man.
All I know is Bill Belichick should step away
from the Patriots,
from the sport of football.
I mean, when was the last time he won a Super Bowl, Joe?
Bill? 5 years ago? 4 years ago?
Yeah, I think 5.
Yeah.
By the time this next Super Bowl comes around, it had been 5, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
You should stop living in 5 years ago, Joe.
I'm not saying he's competing for a Super Bowl. That's not what I'm saying. I am merely defending the fact, like you guys said an incorrect statement of his defenses are out of date, because that's just not true. Are the way he runs the team? Sure. That is what you said. You said
I just said he's an out-of-date coach.
The offense.
I didn't mention his
game
defense
is passing Bill Belichick by.
Yeah, I disagree with that.
Not that the offensive game is beating his defense, that the offense, like, he can't hang with the NFL.
Then what does that mean? What does the statement mean then? What does that mean?
That the Patriots offense is terrible.
2010 scheme and teams now are running a 2023 scheme? Sure, they've passed him by in terms of calendar years.
I mean, that's kind of what he does, though. He's always run the same defense.
Yes and no. It wasn't that long ago that Bill Belichick defenses were the only defense in the league that could stop Mahomes and the Chiefs.
No, the Vic Fangio defense.
Huh?
The Vic Fangio defense.
When?
When he was with the Bears that last year. They were the best in the league. They were the ones that figured out how to stop the Rams that year. And Belichick copied everything they did in that Super Bowl. He didn't even come up with that. He stole. He was a stealer.
He's always been a stealer and a cheater. I'm not arguing that. All right. We've been way too long on this topic. Wow. Man, some Belichick haters.
I mean, there's a lot of love for Belichick on your part. I didn't know it all existed like that.
Oh, I massive respect for him. You remember I used to have a call for the Cougars called
from
Belichick.
From when they won their first Super Bowl to the last one, yeah, but he should have retired with Tom Brady.
Okay, Greg Popovich should have retired.
Yeah, I agree.
As soon as a great coach loses their best player, they should retire every time.
No, when they get old, and as soon as they should.
Yeah, when they get old and they can't figure out a way to win more games, like the Spurs suck. Are you just going to blame that on the fact that they don't have any good players?
Absolutely. Name 3 players besides Wembanyama, please.
Devin Vassell.
Who?
Devin Vassell? They just give him a 5-year contract. No ball more, dude.
Who?
Okay.
I only know good players, sir.
Jeremy Sohan?
Also who?
Okay. You told me to name them, and I'm naming them. You don't know them. That's on you. Trey Jones?
Man, you were just naming some 75 overall 2K players.
That's why they're bad. Okay, they suck. Yeah, and the coach would be coaching them up to be better.
That is not how. Okay, all right. Moving on. Who was last? Did Drake just go?
I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. Wow, that got feisty up.
Imagine throwing Conor Ray into the mix of this.
I mean, it just happened. For a show called Mad Talk, we don't have a ton of Mad Talk. That was some Mad Talk, guys. That was some Mad Talk. But my last one here to wrap up Gas or Pass. So all offseason, we heard the same narrative that the AFC was stacked. All the good quarterbacks were in the AFC. AFC's way better than the NFC. NFC's soft. 8 and 9 teams are going to be making it. Despite all of that, the NFC is right there with the AFC.
Wait, so what's the statement then?
The statement is that the
So you're saying
NFC
that-
is on par with the AFC.
Like the top teams?
Or
Or
just
just
like
in
how you
general?
please. The conferences.
I mean, as of now, I think.
Oh, the
that's-
conference
that's
is absolutely not. The conferences in the NFC are terrible.
Why?
The NFC conferences are terrible.
Why?
I think.
Well, I'm
there's only
sorry, but
3
the NFC
teams.
North is awful.
Yeah. Except
Lions are
NFC
3 and
South
1 and
is
beat the
awful.
Chiefs.
There's 2 good divisions in the NFC.
And 2 good teams in those divisions each. You can make an argument that the 3 best teams in
mean-
football are in the NFC.
Yeah. Yeah, the Cowboys, Eagles, and Niners are all probably the top 3 right now.
Yeah.
But I feel like the AFC has more depth throughout the conference.
More
you can make
depth.
an argument for more teams in the AFC, I think.
Yeah, an argument, but those arguments are arguments on paper. Like, hey, the Bengals are so good. Are they?
Well, the
We've been talking
Ravens,
about
they
writing
could
them
do
off.
something.
No,
I agree. The Ravens
I mean,
were my
it's
Super
more
Bowl
of-
pick. I'm not arguing that.
Chiefs, Ravens, Chargers, Bills,
Chargers are
Dolphins.
2-2.
So they look like they're improving.
They were 0-2 2 weeks ago in the Desperation Bowl.
And now
So,
they're 2-2. So
so just because the Seahawks are 3-1 and the Buccaneers are 3-1, the NFC is on par with the AFC because the Chargers are 2-2 because the AFC is better, and
No.
all these NFC teams are playing each other and they all stink. So yeah, the
No, no, no,
Seahawks
no,
and
no.
the Buccaneers
No,
are
no,
going to
no,
be
no.
3-1.
The NFC has a winning record over the AFC this year by a margin.
it's only been 4 weeks.
It has. It's early. But I'm saying these
Teams like
conferences
the
are on par.
Broncos, because of teams like the Broncos, the Raiders.
No. The Broncos beat an NFC team, so that is actually
Well, they don't
hurting
even
my
count
argument.
as a real football team.
You guys are arguing like these like double-bladed arguments you guys are using. Broncos don't count. Oh wait, they beat an NFC team and lost to AFC teams.
You're the one who
yeah.
brought that up.
Me. He said
Yeah, that
Drake
is
did.
true. Well, I said the Broncos because that's a freebie.
Not for the Bears.
Okay, man, the
I mean-
Bears are a freebie. So
Okay.
That was a toss up. The Commanders beat the Broncos.
Okay.
That's it. That's the only AFC team or NFC team I think.
Well, the Lions beat the Chiefs.
fluke.
Week 1.
They didn't have their two of their 3 best players.
I agree with that. But overall, originally your answer
Lions did
was
smoke on the
yes, Kyle.
Packers,
Have you
though.
switched?
I don't know. I'm just arguing to argue.
Exactly. I knew it. You guys have just like to gang up on me today.
No, I would pass on that 100%. I do not think the NFC is better than the AFC at all.
Okay.
Not
I
even
didn't say
close.
better. I said on par.
On par. I mean, okay, then I guess I think we're watching some competitive football right now. Football stinks right now. Let's be honest, but it's competitive all around the league. So I guess I would say it's gas, but I don't think that the NFC is a laughing stock. But I mean, again, like last year, every year's the Cowboys' year, so I don't want to hear anything about the Cowboys. Okay. Last year was the Eagles and the 49ers again. This year the Lions are 3-1, but they've beat teams like
The Packers.
the Packers.
The Packers, the Chiefs, and then who was the other one?
They lost to the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Who did they beat?
I know, struggling. It was in Detroit, I think.
That's week 3, right?
Now let's look it up quick.
Yeah. Why can't we remember this?
A lot of
No.
games happened.
Yeah, it was week 3.
I know.
They beat
Who did they play week 3?
Falcons. They beat the Falcons.
The Falcons. Yeah, the Falcons too.
I agree with that.
So the Lions whooped up on 3 stink teams. Sorry, two stink teams and a fluke win.
That's how every team is that has 3 wins right now. Like, that's just the way it goes early in the season.
Maybe in
But
the NFC, but not in the AFC.
really, the main premise of what I was getting at was like all offseason, everyone was saying, man, the NFC is a joke. NFC stinks. They have no quarterbacks. And I think they were dissing on people like Geno and Jared Goff, who are, solid quarterbacks. Are they Justin Herbert? No, but the NFC defenses they look legit. At least a few of them do. So I think it's a very respectable conference. I think they're on similar playing fields.
I guess.
All right.
That's where I come down to, I guess.
Okay.
I mean, we'll see. I mean,
wow. We will see. I mean, it's a long season. We're early on, but no more time for that. We've got to wrap up this week with our week 5 pick segment. So we will go pretty quick here since we're already at the almost hour and a half mark now. So Kyle, since it's your favorite team playing on Thursday night, you can kick us off with the Bears and Commanders.
Oh, the Commanders are going to kill them. They played a good game against the Eagles, and the Bears lost to the Broncos. I don't think it's going to be close. That Commanders D-line is going to kill Fields. I could honestly see him getting hurt this game by how many hits he takes. So Commanders easily.
Drake?
I got the Commanders.
Close? Blowout?
Blowout, probably.
Wow. Well, I'm going to make it 3 for 3 with the Commanders, but I actually think this will be a competitive game. I got Commanders 27-24. Bears pride game to some degree.
It was last week.
They just had their pride game. Exactly.
Okay.
They have no pride.
Well, I guess I'm the one believing in the Bears to lose by less. So yeah, because I think
who's the favorite that game?
Who do you think? Commanders favored by 5.5. At least that was the Vegas line yesterday when I made the script or the general flow for here today. The script is held by the NFL. I'm just kidding. Next up here, we've got Jacksonville and Buffalo, which is in London. And surprisingly, at least to me, Buffalo's favored by 5.5.
Well, they're the better team. I think it might be closer because Jacksonville's been in London for the last week and a half. So their bodies are used to, that time zone. So might be more competitive because of that. But I think the Bills are just the better team all around.
I've got Jacksonville.
Ooh.
Jacksonville's Germany's team.
They're in London.
London's team.
Germany also
how
loves
the Cowboys are America's team. The Cowboys are America's team. Jacksonville's London's team.
I mean, I've also got the Jags 28-24. So we're on the same page there. I think I agree, though, Kyle. Bills are the better team, but I do think them having been in London for a week plus now already.
They went to Germany to practice this week.
And the Bills are due for their typical letdown game that they kind of usually have. So Jags in a tight one, but we'll see. They haven't been, world beaters quite yet. This game, this is kind of a hard one, honestly, and not going to be a very fun one to watch. But we've got the Saints going to New England to take on the Patriots. Patriots 1.5-point favorites.
I got the Saints because they're not being coached by Belichick. So that's all the reason I need, Joe.
I've got the Saints too. Because I don't trust that Belichick's defense.
Lone Wolf. I got the Patriots 16-13 because that Saints offense stinks. It's Olave and that's it. Huh?
Derek Carr's hurt. Cut him some slack.
That offense stinks. They put up
Hold on. Let's rewind about 6 months. Weren't you all into that offense?
Yeah. Yep. And I was wrong. Now, I still hope they can turn it around, but not this week. Patriots pride game. You guys are talking shit about Bill Belichick, and he's been listening in really close.
He's going to hear this, isn't he?
So I got Patriots. Patriots 16-13. All right. Next up here, though, this is actually kind of an intriguing game. We got Titans going to Indy to take on the Colts, who are 1.5-point favorites. Basically a pick 'em.
This is a nasty game, kind of.
Nasty, great.
I don't know. I'm going to go with the Colts. I just think Anthony Richardson's really good.
I've got the
That's
Colts
all.
too.
Go. I got Colts. All right, that's 3 for 3. I got Colts 23-20. I hope JT's back too. Like I really
practicing
do.
Again.
Yes, I'm very happy about that. So we're all in agreement there.
Joe might win a fantasy game this week.
I'm only good in one of my leagues right now, so that's devastating.
Is it Jay's league?
Nope. But in that league, I should have Cooper Kupp coming back, so that would help.
Yeah, he started practicing again today too.
Mm-hmm.
I have one league where I actually have both of them. So, I mean.
But Puka's number 1 there, so.
All right.
Sorry.
All right. Goodbye. Kyle's been removed from the stream. But in all seriousness, next up, this is a game where one team is better, but it's always sneaky close. We got Ravens and Steelers in Pittsburgh. Ravens 3.5-point favorite.
I'm going to go with the Ravens. They're just the better team. I don't know. Is Trubisky starting this week? Because if he is, that defense is going to eat him alive.
What's the difference?
Don't know yet.
But I think the Ravens, even though they're not like healthy right now, I just think they're the better coached and better overall team.
Nope. Steelers are going to win. I got the Steelers.
Shocker. So, Drake, I'm sorry. I got to pick against the Steelers for the first time.
Should have been doing that more.
You're pretty used to losing.
All right, Drake. I got Ravens 23-13. That Steelers offense is dreadful. So
I made him run away.
He's devastated. Next up, Carolina and Detroit. Detroit is a massive favorite here of 8.5 at home.
Well, yeah, they're Detroit. Like I said, I think they're a really good team, really well coached team. They play hard every week, and the Panthers kind of look at like the opposite of that right now. So Lions, every week is a pride game for the Lions, not just because it's Lion pride, but just because their coach, Dan Campbell, every week he makes it a pride game for them.
Every week.
I got Detroit for as long as Bryce Young is the starting quarterback for the Panthers.
Wow. The hate on here today is real. The negativity is.
I've always hated on Bryce Young.
That's fine.
I don't think he's good.
That's fine. Panthers aren't. I got Detroit 27-20. I do see kind of, Panthers hanging around. Don't forget, Panthers did run all over the Lions last year when the Panthers were pretty much down and out and the Lions were currently holding the playoff spot and blew it. Obviously different players and whatnot, so I don't see the Panthers doing that again, but I do think they can present some matchup problems in the run game.
Their run game's been pretty bad this year. Sanders is looking not so good, and they paid him a decent amount of money.
He should have stayed with the Eagles for whatever they would give him.
Hubbard looks better than him, honestly.
And he's one of the ones that tore him up last year, so he maybe gets some more run time as the season goes on. But I don't know. That was just the kind of the score that came to me. Lions are clearly the better team there. Next up here, we've got the frisky Texans going at the Falcons. Falcons still favored 2.5 points.
Where is it at?
Atlanta.
I don't know. I think Atlanta's looked pretty bad since they played the Packers week 2. And Houston's on like an upswing, so I'm going with Houston in this one. I think CJ Stroud's going to keep playing pretty good. And Desmond Ridder sucks. So
terrible. They better put in Heineke before it's too late.
You seen what they did with Mariota? They let him rock it out as long as he could. So I just think that's what they're gonna do still. But I've got Houston for sure.
3 for 3. I got Houston 24-20. I still don't think the Texans are like that good, but they're well coached. They play hard, and CJ Stroud is at least prolific in the pass game, at very least. And I think Dameon Pierce is going to come along at some point once that
pretty good last couple of games. Pretty decent.
Yeah, just not fantasy wise. That's what I need. I need the fantasy in one league.
You need the touchdowns.
Yes, that is absolutely. All right, this game, if there is disagreement, I would be absolutely shocked. Giants going to Miami, who is the 10.5-point favorite.
I've got the Giants. I'm just kidding.
It's Miami.
Yeah.
They're going to fucking run up the score again, in my opinion. A-Chain in their four touchdown game would be nice.
Yeah, for you.
Yeah. And a lot of other people, too.
Drake?
No, I've got Miami. Obviously.
Miami.
I would never
Covering the 10.5 points.
I would never bet on Daniel Jones.
Except against the Vikings in the playoffs.
Either of those
Saquon
teams are going to
Barkley.
get there.
No, but last year. 3 for 3. Dolphins 38-17. Not much to think about there. Bengals at Cardinals. I'm actually kind of curious to see where everyone lands here. Bengals somehow managed to still be 3-point favorites.
I've got the Cardinals.
I got the Bengals just because it'll be a close game because the Cardinals, they're a tough team. They're not the most talented, but their coaching has them playing above either their talent level.
Yeah, for sure.
But I don't know. It's just something. I think the Bengals have to start. This is the week for them to turn it around. If they don't, then I am all out on them.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. I got Bengals 24-20 in a very scrappy, barely sneak it away W.
Yeah, I got the Cardinals.
All right, Drake's the lone wolf on that one. We got Eagles and Rams in LA. Eagles favored by 4.5.
I think this will be a tough game, but the Eagles just win tough games. That's kind of what they've been doing these last 2 years. And I think there's more talented on both sides of the ball. Even though McVay might scheme some stuff up, and Kupp is back, it might be a little harder on that banged up Eagles secondary. But I think the Eagles will win this one. Relatively close, though.
Drake?
I want you to pick first, Joe.
Whose house? Rams house. This is assuming Cooper Kupp plays, but I'll ride with it either way. Give me the Rams, 28-24. Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua make that Eagles defense go loopy and spin right round. Give me the Rams.
Kyron Williams disrespect, dude. He's good
yeah.
too.
Okay.
Yeah.
That wasn't the premise of my point, but he does look really good.
Did you forget how bad the Rams offensive line is?
I like their offensive line now. I like it.
Do you?
Yes, I do.
Why?
Eye test, it looks solid.
When?
Weeks 1 through 4.
I don't. At practice? 'Cause it hasn't looked good in games.
I disagree with that, at least compared to last year.
I mean, last year they were compared to the Cougars' offensive line. So,
All right.
I mean,
Well,
it's
Drake?
not that hard, but they're not that good. My pick, though, is the Eagles.
Okay. Blowout.
No, I think it'll be a close game. I think it'll be a good game. I think everyone's expecting that Dallas 49ers game to be the game of the week, but I think this one could scratch on the door for that too.
I could see that. For sure. Well, I'm curious to see how this one goes out because I actually do feel really good about the Rams' ability to take over the upset here, and Drake will mock me if I'm wrong, but
Because you're going to come on and be like, I was wrong, but Cooper Kupp had a great game.
So really,
So let's talk about that. Yeah.
Hey, That's the way it be. I have yet to have a losing week this year, so I like to take some chances in the meantime, anyways. Next game, this is a game that is not super glamorous, but it's the Nat Hackett revenge game, kind of. The Jets at the Broncos, who are 2.5-point favorites.
I'm not going to watch this game at all.
Wow.
I think the Jets win because I think Breece Hall is going to have his breakout game this year, and he's going to carry them to a victory. So I got the Jets.
They're taking him off workload management too, I guess.
Yep.
So
this is the perfect week to do it.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know why where's the game? In Denver?
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's the only reason I could see why the Broncos would be favorited, but absolutely not. I've got the Jets all the way, 100%. I'll take the Jets in a blowout. I think the Jets defense alone scores 14.
Wow. I got Jets too, so that makes us 3 for 3 there. I got Jets 30-20. I think their offense will have their coming out party with, as Kyle said, Breece Hall's breakout game. So we're all in agreement there. I wasn't sure how we'd land, but everyone obviously knows that the Broncos defense is terrible.
And they just dropped Randy Gregory today.
Yep, wild.
Yeah, because they wanted to stay young.
They wanted to stay bad. Bad. Next up, we got Chiefs at Minnesota. Chiefs still favored 5.5.
Chiefs.
Still favored. What do you mean still favored? They would never be not favored. I've got the Chiefs.
Yeah. I didn't mean still favored as in like they shouldn't be, but 5.5 on the road is still a pretty big spread.
The Vikings suck.
They do. I agree.
I've got them favored 10.5.
Well, if that were the case, the Vikings would cover on my pick. I got Chiefs 31-21. I mean, it's not going to be a close game, but we know how the Chiefs are. They kind of mess around with their, when they play a team that's not as good with them, they kind of mess around a little bit. But Drake, you teased this game a little bit. What?
They start doing Ring Around the Rosie, and then Travis Kelce runs up, and then Isaiah Pacheco takes a snap.
And then the camera pans to Taylor Swift. You're right. Next up, Drake teased this a little bit earlier. America's Game of the Week. We got the Cowboys and Niners in San Fran. San Fran, 3.5 points there.
That's a tough one, but I've got the that's a tough one.
I've got the foo. That's a tough one.
I've got the 49ers. 49ers,
Cowboys.
I think that.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah. I think the 49ers defense is just way too good for Dak Prescott.
Yeah. Also, it hurts. Trayvon Diggs is out. So, in the, Niners already have so many weapons, and having their best DB out, it's not going to help them one bit. But it will be a close game, I think, for sure. But I think the 49ers just have more talent right now. So,
Joe, Brock Purdy had one incompletion on Sunday.
Don't care.
One.
Don't care.
One incompletion. When are you gonna say something about Brock Purdy?
When I see him make
when you see him not be undefeated?
Don't care.
You see him not be undefeated?
Don't care.
When you see him playing the most efficiently in the NFL?
Don't care. So far, I have yet to see anything out of him that I didn't see out of Jimmy G. So I don't see what the difference is.
He's not a turnover machine like Jimmy G was.
Exactly. He doesn't throw picks. He doesn't fumble. He gets first downs with his feet.
This week is when he starts to turn that ball over.
He leads the team. The team respects him. He's got swagger. He's what did you see from Jimmy G that you don't see from Brock Purdy?
Making it to a Super Bowl.
They would have if he didn't hurt his elbow and had Christian McCaffrey playing quarterback.
I disagree with that. They were losing at the time.
Yeah, but it was like a one-score game.
By what? 7?
It was like 2 minutes into the game.
So what do you mean they were losing at the time?
I'm just saying, I don't think they were winning that game, but I don't think they're winning this game either. I got Cowboys 26-20. yes, Brock Purdy has not turned into the pumpkin that I thought he would, and maybe he never will, but I still haven't seen anything for me to think he's special. That's really my main point.
Doesn't have to be special with that team. You know.
I agree. I don't think Jimmy G's special, and they made a Super Bowl and a conference championship that they should have won.
Yeah, but he threw a pick that
also,
lost the game for them.
That's fair.
In that championship.
You also you don't have to be special to just be a winner, be an efficient football player.
I didn't say that. That's why I made the comparison to like what's the difference between Jimmy G, because Jimmy G with the Niners was like a top 5 winning percentage of a quarterback all time.
That's fine. He was not efficient.
I didn't say that. Actually, he did have times where he was, so it's not like he was.
The defense carried him a lot more those years than they
didn't have McCaffrey though.
So,
what do you mean? So McCaffrey, we just talked about him being the MVP. What do you mean? So
he had prime George Kittle and Debo. Those guys are
Brandon
really
Ayuk though. Not Brandon Ayuk.
He didn't want to throw it to him. He was on the team.
You were hold on. You can't say Brandon Ayuk because you said Brandon Ayuk was trash.
I did not say trash. When did I say trash?
God, I wish Snapchat saved messages. When I told after week 1, you said Brandon Ayuk was trash.
That's just not true. I was probably mad because he was beating me in fantasy.
Okay,
Ayuk's been like their best pass catcher this year.
That's kind of what I'm saying. I'm saying their weapons now are far beyond what they used to be even. And the defense, I think, is better than it was.
Dude, they had prime Mostert. He killed the Packers that one year.
He did, and McCaffrey would have ran for 500 yards against the Packers that year. Not to mention the fact that they have Trent Williams now on offense, on their offensive line. Like, they are way better now than they were when they made the Super Bowl with Jimmy G, and I don't think that's talked about enough. And yet I have them losing.
I mean,
you're all over the place today, Joe.
Brock Purdy has one of the best pass ratings in the league right now.
What did I say? I do not care.
Well over 1,000 yards.
What do you
no
care
interceptions.
Let me steal a quote from someone else. So this is what Nick Wright said on First Things First on Fox. Yes, he's kind of all over the place, but he said, "Am I allowed to have opinion different than the box score? Am I allowed to have an opinion different than the box score? Because if so, I'm going to trust my eyes, and my eyes tell me Brock Purdy is a game manager."
So was Tom Brady.
I'm not arguing that.
But Tom Brady was special.
He was.
Why?
Both there.
Oh my God.
Nah, you guys are unbelievable.
I've been on
people, dude.
I've been on the Brock Purdy train since day 1.
You have. Credit. I have not, and I'm still not on it.
What's he gonna have to do for you to get on it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Beat the Cowboys this week and look good.
Okay, then you're gonna change. You're gonna keep moving the goalpost, though.
Yeah, maybe. You're gonna say, "Well, Christian McCaffrey had 2 touchdowns."
Yes, that's what I mean by look good. If I don't mean look good as in go 10 for 13 for 180 yards. Yes, against the Giants and the Cardinals,
he just went
5 teams in the league.
He just went 30 for 31 for 250
against
yards.
Who?
Cardinals have a good defense.
Good is a strong word. They also gave up 28 second-half points to Daniel Jones, who we're talking about being one of the worst quarterbacks in the league, and he had one of the best halves in the history of football against that defense.
That was Brian Dable. He did it all.
But this isn't Kyle Shanahan. Like, who's all over the place today?
You.
Man, you guys are... We could spend like 30 minutes on this Brock Purdy topic, apparently.
I think he's an above-average quarterback.
I don't. I think he's a below-average quarterback. I think if he were on every team besides the Niners and Dolphins, he would be terrible. Yes.
I would take Brock Purdy on the Steelers any day of the week.
I agree with that, but Kenny Pickett's nowhere near that halfway point.
Do you think Sam Darnold would be doing the same thing if he was starting for him?
Same thing? No, but I also think Sam Darnold, even when he was at his peak, was the 32nd best quarterback in the league. I think Brock Purdy is like 22nd.
No. Top 15 easily.
Easily.
Do you think if Jimmy G was still their quarterback this year, they'd be doing the same thing?
Do I think they'd be 4-0? Yeah.
Jimmy G runs virtually the same offense right now, and he has Devontae Adams, and he's playing terribly.
I disagree with virtually the same offense. And
they
Devontae
have
Adams
Josh
is where that
Jacobs.
list ends.
Josh Jacobs was the leading rusher last year. So
And
how does
McCaffrey
that
is
list
still
end
way
right
better than
there?
him.
This is terrible.
This is terrible. You guys are making ridiculous arguments at this moment.
Not
Because
even.
all I said
You
was
just
you think Jimmy G would be doing the same thing.
I said he'd be 4-0.
But would he be playing this
No,
good, or would the
absolutely
team
not.
be carrying him?
Maybe both.
You can't do both.
I don't
Yes,
think they'd
you
be
can.
4-0.
Who would they have lost to?
I think they'd be.
The Steelers with your 7 points? No.
Who would they have lost to? Probably the Rams. They would 100% lost to the Rams. 100%.
Why is that 100%? They beat the Rams every single time with Jimmy G under
Not every time.
every time but that playoff game. Every other time they won. They were like 8-1 against the Rams.
Brock Purdy's only lost to the Eagles who played in the Super Bowl. And he had a torn elbow.
And he's about to lose this week.
If he tears his elbow again.
He should have lost to the Cowboys in the playoffs last year. The Cowboys choked, in my opinion.
That's not his fault.
I didn't say that. I'm not a QB wins guy. I'm just not.
I'm a good QB guy. That's what I am.
Well, you need to find.
If you're not okay, if you want to, not to bring up another topic, but if you're not a QB wins guy, then Tom Brady really doesn't matter. Because Tom Brady had a top 2 defense every single year he won the Super Bowl. So
I can get behind that argument.
Yeah, because you think Belichick is the greatest thing to ever happen to football.
And you think Aaron Rodgers is the greatest quarterback to ever happen to football?
I have not said that on Mad Talk.
You have not.
I think we've been going for like 20 minutes on this one game.
Apparently, and not even about the game,
Yeah.
just about Brock
It's
Purdy.
about Brock Purdy.
Because I picked the Cowboys, and then all of a sudden it was
No,
just-
because you think he's not good.
I do.
Yeah,
We'll change the thing why we're talking about it.
but that's a terrible take.
Well, sorry, I'm the only one who's just not hopping on the bandwagon because he, I don't know, does well
we're-
with a stacked team. I don't know what to
we're-
tell you.
10 weeks in to the Brock Purdy experiment.
Well, let's talk about it next week. Let's talk about it next week when he plays a real defense.
He played
I
the
mean-
Cowboys last year and beat them. Were they
Yes,
not a
but
real
he didn't
defense
play
then?
well. He did not play well.
The Steelers, not a real defense. Don't look me in my face and tell me that they don't have one.
That's fair, but you did also just get diced up by the Texans, so I don't know.
We just talked about how CJ Stroud is playing great football.
Yeah.
The Rams, not a good defense.
Not a good one. They're not bad. They're probably pretty middle of the pack. And he also didn't dice them up either.
How about the Cardinals, who beat the Cowboys?
Yeah. I don't believe in the transitive property of the NFL of like, oh, this team beat that team, which means that team's better than that team. I don't believe in that.
But what I'm saying is their defense is good.
I don't know that.
Their offense
Again,
is
they
what's
gave up
losing
28
games.
second half points to the Giants, who we all think are toothless and terrible.
No. They gave up the points to Brian Daboll and Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, Saquon hasn't been playing these last few weeks.
What is that? What is that?
That's why the Giants. That's why the Giants aren't looking as good. They don't have their best player.
Yeah, but we still think they stunk before then.
Yeah, but they'd be better with
We
Saquon.
think that Daniel
They
Jones
put up 0 points on the Cowboys. 0. If we're going to go to the
I think
transitive property route, 0 against the Cowboys, and then 28 against the Cardinals. So because of that, the Niners putting up 30 against the Cardinals, I'm supposed to believe that Brock Purdy is Tom Brady 2.0.
If you win
No,
7
what I'm
Super
saying
Bowls.
is you're saying that he hasn't played any good defenses, which is just absolutely not true.
All right, he's played the Steelers. I will concede that, but the Steelers didn't show up that day, so I don't know what else to say about that.
You just want to take everything away from Brock Purdy. That's fine.
I hate that I have to be the Brock Purdy hater, but I think everyone is thrusting him into a stratosphere that he is not sniffing at this moment. I don't
Because
care.
he's
True.
everyone's doing that because he's playing great football. He's winning. He's not turning the ball over. And
I think everyone's looking at the box scores personally.
No one's saying he's a top 10 guy. Everyone's like, oh, yeah, Brock Purdy's pretty good. You know,
Do you think he's a top 15 guy?
Yeah.
Would you take him over? Let's see. Would you take him over Matt Stafford?
no,
I would not.
I mean, Matt Stafford's
Would you take him over Tua?
very underrated.
No, Tua's a top 5 guy.
5?
At this point this year.
No. See,
Yeah.
you guys are just looking at box scores. That's all I can say now.
What are you looking at?
Who's
The
been better?
game.
Name 5 more people 5 quarterbacks have been better than Tua this year.
No. This year, better versus better
We're-
this year
we-
are different conversations. You're going back to the box score thing.
We play
That's all we're
current.
gonna do.
We
Just tell me
play.
who's got the top 5 ratings.
We play current football. We're not talking about 2 years ago, Joe.
I'm not either. I'm talking about who is the better player. Because if we're going to go that route, then Kirk Cousins is on pace for 60 touchdowns, and he's the best quarterback in the league.
Well, no, because
You
they
can't have it
lose.
both ways.
Kirk Cousins throws 4 picks a game.
Okay, well, that's just also an extreme exaggeration.
Would
The
you rather
pick
have
segment
Kirk
has
Cousins
been
or Brock
hijacked,
Purdy on your
you
team?
know. Huh?
Would you rather have Cousins or Purdy on your team?
I think if Cousins were on the Niners, he would be doing the exact same thing.
I just wanted to
And
ask
Kirk
anyone.
Cousins is talked about as a top 5 guy, top 10 guy.
I don't put him top 10. I put him at, I'm pretty sure on my list, I put him at like 16 or maybe
That's a little-
14.
So that's right around the top 15. And if you're putting Kirk Cousins in with Brock Purdy and Kirk Cousins is doing the exact same thing, then Brock Purdy should be right around that 16 to 14 mark.
I could get on board with him being around like 18. So, I mean, it's not like I'm, bridges away
No.
from each other.
Mm-mm.
I want to see your full list of quarterbacks at some point.
I have it. I did it on
He has
my season preview episode.
We'll look
It's
at
a
it later.
terrible list.
You at the time, Drake, you said it was one of the best lists you've seen. So don't do this revisionist history crap.
Yeah, but that was before the season.
I don't change my mind because of a month of football.
But games have happened.
But you only change your mind up based off what you've seen.
Mm-hmm.
So a sample size of 4 games should
Not
change
enough.
your thoughts.
No, not enough.
But Brock
4
Purdy
games
has
last
been
year,
doing
everyone was
this
anointing the
over. Brock Purdy's been doing this since last year.
Yeah,
Just went through a surgery on his elbow and came back and is doing the same thing.
I respect that.
If
I
better.
like that he's come back. I like that he came back right away. He's a tough kid who is obviously resilient, and he deserves credit, which is why I said I hate that I have to take this stance, but someone has to. I'm not just going to crown someone for being surrounded by all-stars and not fucking it up. Like I'm just not going to do that.
But you've crowned Victor Wembanyama for being 7'11".
7-Eleven. It was a part-time job. Leave me alone. Yeah, I'll do that. That's different strokes though. One guy is a generational, healed talent versus the other guy was last pick of the draft. I have reason to be skeptic of one versus the other. Like
One guy's
No,
never
you
played
don't,
a single
because-
game.
let's not
And
do
one
this
guy
cross
has
sports
been not winning.
Let's not do this cross sports thing.
I'm just
Because you have to
saying.
play a regular season game. We're not doing that.
But you said generational talent. How do you know he has generational talent? That's your
I'm
eye
not
test.
saying he does. I'm saying the difference between like what. So where you start, like where you are projected and all of that, like the level of prospect that you are, does that matter in the end of your career? No, but for the beginning and how you evaluate someone, it does until you've seen enough to think otherwise.
I personally have seen enough of Purdy to think he's good.
Okay. I need to see more. I need to see him. I need
Win
to
a
see
Super
him
Bowl?
have
Is
success
that what you want?
when it isn't easy. That's what I need to see. I remember, I'm old enough to remember Nick Foles having a season where he threw 27 touchdowns and 2 interceptions, and I had to fight against everyone when I said, I don't think he's good. I don't think he's good. My eyes tell me he's not good. He's getting away with drop picks, and I feel the exact same way with Brock Purdy. Now, Nick Foles went on to win a legendary Super Bowl, so maybe Brock Purdy will do that too. But do I see Brock Purdy as being at the level of a Matt Stafford, that type of guy? I absolutely do not.
It's a bold take.
I think we're just going around in circles here right now.
We absolutely are. Like, again, that's why I took the picks off here, because we're not even talking picks anymore. Wow. That could have been an episode in and of itself, Purdy conversation.
I like how you tried to sneak in that Tua's not a top 5 guy either.
He's not. He's absolutely
100%.
not.
Just name your top 5 quick.
Top 5 real quick. Am I allowed to include Rodgers or no?
No.
Okay. Then it's Mahomes, Allen.
He's not even top 5. Sorry.
Hurts, Burrow, Herbert. Those would be my top 6, I guess.
Tua's blowing Burrow out of the water this year.
What did I just say, though? It's not just about this year. Then go pull up the stats and tell me who's better. If it's just about this year, then Josh Allen's the best quarterback in the league. And then Kirk
Last
Cousins
year, Tua was better than Joe Burrow, too.
Yeah, before his brains went to splat.
That's part of it, 1. And 2, then we're going back to the, who's got what and who's got what. If Mike McDaniel was the coach of Joe Burrow, my God. But last year, I remember it was a huge argument. And Drake, you remember this too, to where everyone was starting to say Tua better than Herbert. And I was very strong-willed on the fact that that's just simply not true. And everyone by the end of last year came around to that thought, to where obviously Herbert's a way better player. And I still feel that way, but everyone gets tricked by voodoo of 2-3 good weeks.
What about 4 good weeks?
Wow, Kyle.
Anyway, I've got the 49ers.
Okay. I feel like this was just so that we couldn't talk about Packers Raiders.
Well, you know what?
Packers. Okay, yeah, Packers.
Yeah,
Raiders
Packers.
suck.
And then let's Joe, why? Because Jordan Love is so good. Because
I don't
Jordan
know if
Love's a
he's so
top
good.
15 guy.
I didn't list him as top 15.
I know you
Top
don't.
1, sorry.
Don't try to twist it, you guys, since you're upset about the Purdy side of things. I had Jordan Love listed at 18. I still feel okay
really
about
low.
that. Huh?
What has he done that Purdy has?
You had him on a low list. I respect that you didn't put him higher.
And obviously some of this is unquantifiable. Like when you're doing these made up projections and predictions and rankings. If it weren't, then I would just go to stats.com or whatever and just print out 1 through 32 quarterback ratings, eliminate people with less than 100 passes, and all of a sudden, this is the list of top 32 guys. But that is just not the way it works. Stats only tell part of the story. Packers 30.
I mean, I didn't say anything about Brock Purdy's stats, really.
Kyle did.
When did I say that?
You did. Or no, Drake talked about the completion percentage.
I mean,
week,
yeah, completion. I did say that he only didn't complete 1 pass. Yes.
Man, aren't quarterbacks supposed to complete passes, Drew?
They are supposed to complete passes, I suppose.
With
but
no
also,
interceptions? How do you 1 incompletion, no interceptions? That is what my point was.
Okay. And if you want to anoint him for his game against the Cardinals, be my guest.
I've been anointing him since day 1, so.
Okay. I have not. Wow. This is like the maddest episode of all time.
Maddest episode of all time.
It is. We got some debates going, which I'm feeling pretty warm. This has brought us to the 2-hour mark. We did get through picks. Actually, I don't know. Kyle, did you pick Packers Raiders?
Oh yeah, the Raiders suck, so the Packers.
Yeah, the Raiders are terrible.
All right. Any last jabs on the Brock Purdy front?
He's good.
Good quarterback. Top 15.
Okay.
Gonna win a Super Bowl this year. And Joe, you're gonna have absolutely nothing to say.
I still got the Ravens as my Super Bowl team.
That's
I feel good about it.
why.
I like them. I like their team. That's all you need sometimes. I like that defense. I think their receivers will eventually get healthy and take the step up that we were hoping for. Mark Andrews is a beast, but different topic for a different day.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that about wraps it up on episode 40, a extra long deluxe episode because we had unexpected debates on here. Wow.
I mean, it's very fine to have random topics.
Oh, absolutely. Totally a fan of it. Might have to break down specifically like the Purdy argument and post that in and of itself to get other people's takes on it. I don't know if I'm alone on this hill. Maybe I am. Maybe it's just me and Nick Wright.
No, you're pretty alone.
And that's okay.
99% of people who watch football
I just listen to him a lot.
Can see. You talk about an eye test a lot.
Yeah.
And Brock Purdy should have passed an eye test. If your eye test, though, is like Aaron Rodgers level play, then, I mean, who's going to pass that eye test?
I mean, if you noticed, I used a very specific example throughout, and that was Matt Stafford, because I think he's like about the 10th best quarterback. And if you guys can't argue that he's better than him, then I don't know why this is such a fierce argument that I'm saying he's the 19th best quarterback or whatever, and you guys are saying he's 15th.
I said he's in the top 15. I'd put him more at like 12, but
okay.
And I think Matt Stafford's higher than 10 because Matt Stafford's another hour-long debate because I think he's very underrated. One of the most underrated quarterbacks in the NFL history.
I could agree with that. But that'll have to be a wrap on it for today, guys. I'm sorry. We're putting a cap on it at this 2 hour and 5 minute mark. Kyle, we appreciate the last minute fill in here, especially with us going way over time. It was a lot of fun. I thought we had some good conversations, albeit I felt like I was ganged up on the entire time.
It's just because your takes are just so outrageous. It's good to have someone who actually, I agree with.
Well, congratulations.
I'm just kidding.
That's going to be a wrap on episode 40. Kyle, thank you again. Yep. Drake, part 2 of being back in the saddle. So we love that. Thank you guys for all checking in and bearing with us for our 2 hour debate segment here today. Check out everything else that we got on Spotify, YouTube, and Instagram at Mad Talk Sports. My Lord. Other than that, though, that's a wrap on today. All right. Peace.